Voice crack? What's poppin', internet? Welcome to another episode of the Synced Up Filmcast, the show where we reel you into Disney movies. It's almost we're really close to not reeling in for Disney movies anymore. Like we'll be reeling in for something else.
What are you reeling in for?
I don't know. It might be Nolan. It might be Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Mrs. Potts.
Anyway, we still had the vote still
had done what?
It's still tied 12-12 for Chris Nolan and Harry Potter.
12.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Timothy Rowe, and this is
I'm
Michael Clare, the other guy,
excellent.
the other host. But anyway, now it's time for a little bit of housekeeping.
Don't ever call me the other guy.
The other guy.
Your
This is when you
bud, your pal, your
stumble
friend,
into
your
an intro.
co-host, your amigo, like your compadre, partner.
Fall into
But never call me your guy.
Your other guy.
The other guy.
The other guy.
I'm pissed.
The other guys, you know? You know what I mean?
I don't want to talk about it.
Huh?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry this is a day late, by the way.
Yeah, sorry it's a day late. I worked a very, very long shift and was way too fucking tired to record an episode, so we had to postpone it.
That's not what really happened. What really happened is we wanted some cheese fries.
Yeah, dude, I postponed the show before I knew anything about no cheese fries.
Did you just put that image into the lower thirds? Click the lower thirds.
Click the...
No.
Yes, you did.
Close it. Now, wait, no. Unhide the lower thirds. Hit the button you would normally
hit. The little button. This is for the YouTube viewers.
Yep. Yeah, okay, you can do it. Come on,
hit the button. You just gotta click it.
It's not that serious.
Kylie.
Hit the button.
Kylie, just click.
This is... they can't see this.
Okay,
Baby, you're not going to hit it?
Can you click the fucking...
No!
You know what? No, it's all good.
Did something else go into
the
she
put the intro in there.
We'll
have to take that out. Don't click no more. Anyway, if you enjoy this chaos, you should consider going over to
YouTube.com/syncedupodcast.
No, Patreon is what I started off. You know, see, my mind's all over the place. If you enjoy this chaos, you should consider going over to Patreon, to patreon.com/syncedup, where for $1 you can get access to the lovely Discord.
Very lovely.
Yeah, very, very lovely in there. Or for $5 you can get access to that Discord and post shows of all the shows that we do and many more goodies, all from youtube.com/synceduppodcast and podcasting services around the globe. New episodes of this show specifically go up in all of those feeds Tuesdays, 7 a.m. Central Time Zone gang. You can also write into the show to synceduppod@gmail.com or the reader mail submissions tab of the Discord with any questions, comments, or concerns, and we may read those on the show. This show lacks on that, you know what I mean? All we have is video game Disney. Pod, so we got no write-ins this week.
We got Disney.
We got Disney, though. You should also consider dropping a follow on Twitter at SyncedUpPod to keep up to date with all of our content from across the board. Anyway, in this episode, we're going to be rewatching and ranking Moana.
Or watching for the first time.
Or watching for the first time. And Ralph Breaks the Internet. Next week, we'll be ranking Frozen 2. Raya, and finally getting back to ranking Encanto because that drops on Friday this week.
Watch it. So let us know what you think. It might help us decide where it goes.
Where it ends up going. Yep, of course. We're also going to be talking about Spider-Man numbers, some Witcher stuff, and there'll be Spider-Man spoiler talk at the very, 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 very end of the show. There will be a clear cut. We're going to talk about Spider-Man and Hawkeye past this point. You can jump out, okay?
Jump ship.
So that's what's going to be happening there. Also, in 6 weeks, there will not be an episode of the normal Synced Up Filmcast going up in your feeds. Why? Because on the Synced Up podcast, if you jump over to the other show, you search it in your favorite, it's in the same YouTube feed if you're on video, or if you search up Synced Up podcast and jump over to your favorite podcasting service, you can jump over there, and we're going to be doing a special episode because we will be hitting 100 episodes on the Synced Up podcast. 100.
Extravaganza.
Exactly. Just keep saying that. Anyway, we'll be hitting 100 episodes over there, so in order to celebrate that fact, we'll be doing the 100th episode extravaganza where we Jesus Christ, where we will be having fun doing a bunch of games.
Hot tubs.
Yeah, there won't be any hot tubs because we don't own one. But if you're familiar with Jesus Christ, if you're familiar with our post shows and you support us in the $5 tier at patreon.com/syncedup, we have a lot of fun and sit and kick back and just kind of relax and talk about random shit on the post shows. That's kind of going to be the vibes the whole time. We're going to do a 2 to 3 hour episode. We're going to have pizza, maybe drinking games. We're going to have video game 20 questions. Fielding's going to write in some stuff. We're going to talk about our favorite shit.
What's your favorite shit?
Maybe we rank.
It was 2013.
Yeah, exactly.
In Cole's bathroom.
Exactly. We're gonna be ranking a lot of things. We're gonna be doing just a lot of stuff. And if you have any ideas for things that we should do, put it in the comments, write into the Discord, write into the email, whatever you want to do. 6 weeks from now will be the 100th episode extravaganza. That episode and the audio feed will pop up in the same exact feed. So you will at least get the audio version of this if you're in the audio version of this 100th episode extravaganza there. I imagine it's going to be more video-centric episode, though, because we will be there's going to be a game with art that we're going to play. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. So get excited for that. And anyway, time to get into the main crux of the show.
The main crux.
The penultimate
crux?
penultimate.
Is that foreshadowing?
I don't know. The penultimate episode of our Disney rankings.
Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I hear the word penultimate, I rediscover what it means because I never use it in my lexicon. Right? I'm never just throwing out penultimate.
Penultimate.
I'm just the one before the last.
Mm-hmm.
But I like your verbose
vocabulary.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so this is the penultimate episode of our Disney rankings. We're almost done. A journey I did not think we would come to the end to.
Dude, it's 51 movies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 52 just because it's like an even number, and that's how many weeks are in the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's 51 movies.
51 movies.
That is a lot. And
it's a lot.
I probably rewatched.
It took us half a year almost.
I watched it, and then you watched it, or you watched it, and you watched me watch it.
Took us about...
it was like 60 movies.
Yeah, took us about half a year. Actually, half a year exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, half a year exactly to get to the end of this, which we'll be finishing it next week. But we're going to be kicking it off with Moana and Ralph Breaks the Internet this week. So let's get into Moana. Starting off with the plot synopsis. An adventurous teenager sails out on a daring mission to save her people. During her journey, Moana meets the once mighty demigod Maui, who guides her in her quest to become a master wayfinder. Together, they sail across the open ocean on an action-packed voyage, encountering enormous monsters and impossible odds. Along the way, Moana fulfills the ancient quest of her ancestors and discovers the one thing she always sought, her own identity. So bring up the rankings, if you would.
Do you want to rank first, then talk? Is that what you're feeling?
We'll rank first, and then talk. Let me think hard.
Okay.
I'm thinking hard. Keep in mind, for your audio listeners, the top 5 currently is 5: Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zootopia, Tarzan, and Lilo and Stitch at number 1.
I'm completely disregarding Encanto right now, right? We're gonna replace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the list right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm thinking hard. I got it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 4.
Easy for me. Like I
couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. It was that low.
Yeah, I put it at number 4.
Below Zootopia. Okay. Interesting.
Below Zootopia and Tarzan.
Interesting.
So my original thing. Okay, so I expected it to be number 1. This is what we talked about in a big lead up. For multiple weeks, we talked about how Moana would be number 1.
I think it has the Frozen effect.
Yeah.
Where, like, the scenes with... Really, it's not the Frozen effect. I think it's the Dwayne Johnson effect for me right now.
I don't know.
Maui, any scene with Maui, I was just kind of like...
Yeah.
His
character's weird. The biggest thing for me is, of course, it was pretty visually... it just didn't hit as hard on the second time.
I thought it still looked beautiful. The water at the beginning is so
it's very
gorgeous.
pretty.
The colors are cool. They start with the 2D animation. Animation's not my problem.
I don't mean the visuals
Obviously,
didn't hit as hard the second time. I just meant the movie. The movie didn't hit as hard the second time. Yeah. But for some reason, like watching the visuals, I know this shouldn't be a thing that was happening, but I couldn't. Like when I was looking at the visuals, I was like, man, did you type it in there, Kylie?
Well, we don't know.
Oh yeah, we don't know yet.
You can bring it back up.
Yeah, just leave it up. I was sitting there thinking, man, The Life of Pi has better visuals, and I want to be watching this.
So I said the same thing. I was like, I don't want to fault this movie for just being
animated,
an ocean.
Yeah,
like it's just being on an ocean the whole time, which it's like maybe 50%.
I wish there. It's not 50%. It's like 70-30 ocean to island. I feel like I wish there's more.
You go underwater. Mm-hmm. You go on Maui's island. You go in
Maui's island.
The last
is like
island,
just some sand.
Island. Yeah, but still, like that's all it is. It's not like it's. I
want more green.
The setting isn't amazing.
Yeah,
it's just the ocean.
But Life of Pi does so good.
I think you're right though.
And that was hitting me, and I was like, I shouldn't be
because there's no tension when you're on the ocean. Either.
I shouldn't be faulting this movie because Life of Pi did it better as a real movie, like a live action movie. So why can I only think about how I'd rather be watching Life of Pi right now? And then
there's also no acknowledgement for like the hard survival part of being on a boat.
Yeah,
that's just
Yeah.
It's not
And
at all.
So then the other thing was, it just didn't hit as hard as the second time. The other thing I noticed going through the movie is, sure, Lin-Manuel Miranda did the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is banging, but ultimately, there's just 3 tracks.
There's no power vocal performances either. Like Let It Go by Dina Menzel.
You have the I Am
Crazy.
Moana part, which is kind of there.
I am Moana. But that doesn't hit as hard as Let It Go. In my
but
opinion.
you have the What Can I Say Except You're Welcome. You have Shiny, and then you have
Shiny. You can throw that away.
15 different versions of the same track sung by Moana throughout the film. Yeah, which it is a good song. Like, it's a good song, but it was getting grating on me where I was like, man. Like,
and then, you also have the "Owe, we said across the fine."
Yeah.
And then the one about the island at the beginning is good too.
Yeah. And then the Moana track, and of course you kind of get some recycled stuff in the Frozen soundtrack, but it's way less here. Like, I feel like Moana sings that same track 15 fucking times throughout the film, just slightly tweaked.
Yeah.
And it was starting to grate on me by the end, and I was like, man.
I still love this film though.
Yo, I like this film a lot. But I couldn't. My struggle was, do I put it over Tarzan or not? And then when looking at the list and remembering Zootopia, I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely below Tarzan, and I think Zootopia is better than it, so I'm definitely putting it below Zootopia as well. So seeing Zootopia at 3 is what made me solidify putting it down at 4. But it either goes at 2 and 3. I guess we gotta defer to Kylie. Yes. Kylie says 3.
My reasoning behind 3 is, even Michael said that, like, it wasn't there was still some flaws with it, so I still
you ranked it at number 1. Don't take my argument.
I don't think it deserves the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Putting it at number 3. One of the surprises from doing this list.
Yeah, just go to Tarzan.
Yeah, and just hit enter. One of the surprises I have from doing this list is let me check the frame rate. Okay. Yeah. Is the fact that Tarzan has as much staying power in the top of the list.
Tarzan's great.
It honestly, like, now that we're this far, I'm like, damn, how was because you see things like Aladdin down in the teens, Lion King dropping out of the top 5.
Pull up the list again. Is Aladdin still in the teens?
It's at like 18.
Okay.
Well, actually, maybe, I don't know. Check the list.
Aladdin's at 21.
So when
to be fair, you put some criminal movies above it.
Yeah, don't fucking worry about it. Anyway, so Aladdin's in the 20s, and
Little
Tarzan is like is staying strong.
I think Tarzan's gonna hold up even if I rewatched it again. Like, if I watched it tomorrow, it'd still be good.
It's great.
Lilo and Stitch is just a classic. It's great.
So good.
The characters are the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna spoil how I feel about this movie in comparison to Encanto.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll save that till next week. But I'm excited to talk about the two because they're similar.
And
they're both written.
2, I'm excited to see where Frozen 2 lands too.
Me too. But Moana and Encanto are both written by Lin-Manuel, the music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a clear winner in those two.
Yeah, so do I. Anyway, let's get into Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Breaks the Internet. First time watch for both of us, by the way.
Let's start her off with a synopsis. Video game bad guy Ralph and his fellow misfit Vanellope von Schweetz must risk it all by traveling to the World Wide Web in search of a replacement part to save Vanellope's video game, Sugar Rush. In way over their heads, Ralph and Vanellope rely on the citizens of the internet, the netizens, to help navigate their way, including an entrepreneur named Yes, who is the head algorithm and the heart and soul of trend-making site BuzzTube.
When do they drop the information that they're called netizens?
They don't.
That I was about to say. I don't think they do.
All right, bring up the list so we're gonna do a rank and then a talk.
Okay. I need to stare at the list for a little bit because this one needs some pinpoint.
Yeah. So go ahead and.
You can. It's definitely not top 5. So right there's fine.
Yeah, just leave it here.
Wow. Yikes. I feel bad.
I think I know where I'm gonna put it.
I'm ready.
Damn.
I'm ready.
Damn.
I know, right?
As I keep looking,
are you doing the thing where you're like, is it better than this? No.
Like,
is it better than this? No.
And it slides down the list slowly. I know where I'm putting it.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, 19. Okay. You put it lower than I did.
You hate Mulan.
Well, I just don't really like much of the movies below there. So you put it at 22, I put it at 19. So should it go at 20 or 21, Kylie? What do you think?
She didn't watch this one.
You didn't watch it? I feel like if we got to go by the masses, it's 21. It has to go to the lower margin.
Yeah, I know most people are gonna enjoy those
Because
movies better.
and most people shit on Ralph Breaks the Internet. So go ahead and put it at 21.
Well, let's just have a conversation. Is it better than Emperor's New Groove? You
You
wholeheartedly think it's better than Emperor's New Groove?
Yeah.
And you wholeheartedly think it's better than Aladdin?
Yeah. Well, I also think Mulan should go way the fuck down.
It's not bad, bro. Okay, that's fine. I think it's fine there.
Anyway, so
I had to concede.
yeah. So what happened was when I originally
Moana.
thought this, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it at 11 because I remember it being really good, or not because I thought
Not
it was
really good.
I
But
thought it
you're
was
like,
decent.
"Oh, that wasn't bad."
Yeah, I was like, I thought it's decent, and it's not better than Meet the Robinsons. And then I looked at number 11, and I was like, no. And I looked at 12, and I was like, well, shit. And so I just started going down the list.
That's what I did too. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe it's like top 15.
Yeah,
I was
because
like,
my
no,
original placement
no,
when I was just
no.
thinking in my head, and I like glanced at the list when I was at work
Like
after
a little
I watched
bit,
it.
a little bit worse than the original.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's 11. It's not better than Meet the Robinsons, but it's decent. And then I started looking at those movies, and I was like, nah, I would much rather watch this movie,
And
this movie, this movie.
I
this
said
movie,
this when we watched it. It's 3 years later. It's already kind of aged a little bit. But if we were to watch,
we ended up putting it at 21, by the way.
Huh?
I said we ended up putting it at 21.
21.
21.
If we were to rewatch it in 10 years, that movie's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. So there's like, yeah.
Because Wreck-It Ralph is based off of nostalgia.
Mhm.
That's what makes it a good movie. You're seeing
Yeah.
all these characters from the arcade and stuff like that. That's the whole point of the movie. And then the characters that you don't know, like Vanellope and Sweet, they're all original.
Mhm.
And so you don't like, there's no nostalgia or like
Yeah.
timedness to those characters. Ralph Breaks the Internet is
It's
a very
about-
timed movie. It's
Yeah,
not using the nostalgia part of the internet.
It's about the newness.
Yeah, it's using the newness of that internet, which wears off
Which
very
we're,
quick.
and we're already way past. Yeah. And the internet moves way too fast. One, when this movie originally came out, we're already way too deep into the sauce with the internet. The internet is almost nostalgic at this point.
Yeah.
You know, early areas of the internet, you know, like fucking
and it would
Rage
be,
comics.
I
and
think it would
shit.
be cool if the movie went to like an earlier internet, like 2010.
Or like Rage comics.
Yeah, and explored that
early
part
YouTube,
of the internet.
iFunny.
Because honestly, I thought the Wreck-It Ralph franchise took place in like 2000, like older times. I didn't think it was supposed to be like current day internet.
Yeah. Well, because it's right when dial-up goes out. So you're thinking 2004,
No.
2005.
Yeah.
Era is probably when this is placed.
But no, it's supposed to be current day.
Which is 6 years after the original. So
yeah.
because they talk about how they've been friends for 6 years.
So it was. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna have staying power. I think
Yeah.
it's just gonna continually
So
drop.
to talk about the movie itself, so I thought the beginning, just kind of regular, kind of generic. We're chilling. It's okay.
Mhm.
The character banter feels good. Feels a little weird because of where the characters were, and
Mhm.
you're 6 years deep. But then once you get from the whatchamacallem, to the middle, sorry, and they get into the internet. I like when they first jump into the internet and seeing like, oh, this is an interesting artistic take on the internet. Like everybody has their own little avatar, and
Yeah,
like
you're-
Mr. Spamly being like the pop-up guy. That
those
stuff was fun.
characters were cool. Spamley, Nowhere.
Yeah, those are good characters. And you see,
The original characters.
yeah, and you see all that stuff and getting in it like, oh, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Pinterest. Like all that stuff was cool. And it's the moment when he needs to make like money and he needs they're doing like the slaughter race stuff, cool. But when they get to the let's make viral YouTube videos, that's when it just completely loses me.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a good movie if we just did the loot chase stuff.
Yeah, because it feels like that sequence is made by a person that doesn't understand the internet, who just is like
The
a
YouTube
layman.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a layman to viral videos. Two, the way viral videos work and stuff, you cannot nail it down artistically. I don't think you can make a movie where
An artificial viral video.
yeah, where someone needs to go and make an artificial viral video. It just can't work because of the nature of how viral videos work and like those endorphins that they click in your brain. It needs to be there, and it's just not there. And so he's doing like the goat laugh videos and the bee puns and the blowing the air blower into his mouth.
The challenges.
Those
and,
things, they're dumb as shit, and those are videos that would never succeed in the internet. And then also, it feels like they don't nail down the way that people interact with the internet.
Oh
like,
my god,
the dudes in the office.
Yeah, when they go to the real world and they're like, "Oh my god, bro, I'm gonna email you this video from BuzzTube."
That stuff made sense for the early internet, but because
we're not talking about the early internet. That's why it's confusing.
well, you are because it's like 2005, 2004.
In the show,
Yeah,
there's Snapchat.
yeah, there is Snapchat. So
There's Pinterest. There's like
but
all
that's the
these
thing.
things.
That's the thing doesn't line up because
It's not early internet. You got Slaughter Race, bro.
Yeah, I guess
They're
you're
like
right.
it's current day internet.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Well, current for that time. But it's supposed to be referencing like
When did
this
Snapchat
is
come out?
today's internet.
2011. So
Bro,
it has to be at least after that. Damn, because they said
it's
they've been
like 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I guess I'm geeking.
It's like current day for that movie.
Yeah. Anyway, but I guess that's stupid. So yeah, they're emailing each other back and forth the things, and like you're telling me everyone's obsessed with like 20 different little minor videos that somebody put out. Like that doesn't happen. You have a flash in the pan. So let's say it was a little air blower video, and then that is it. You can capitalize off that and make a career off of that, like in the real world. But you're not gonna get like 8 viral video hits in a row. And it just feels like that internet crafting part was just like, this is made by someone that doesn't fucking use the internet. Yeah. But I also think it's impossible to do that artistically in like a virtual world. I don't think you can do that. I don't think it could be done. And I don't think it's ever been done.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, and you get to the point where she goes to be a pop-up, and you get to the Disney princess part, the movie picks right back up, and then it goes strong until the end. I think. I think that the Disney princess scene and section is like honestly a top hilarious. 10 scene in Disney.
Yeah, because it's not talking about the internet at that point. It's not like let's make jokes about the internet.
Let's make jokes about
the princesses, Disney.
And it hit harder for us because
we just watched all those movies.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey, there's our end game moment. You know, we made it. There's all the princesses. And it was funny. It was good. Yeah. But that feels like such a separate moment from the rest of the movie.
And that scene, which I think is like a diamond, that's like a top 10 or top 5 Disney scene, like just all together, is surrounded by such garbage that it hurts because it's like the Bad Guys Anonymous, one of my favorite scenes. Super cool, great. That's gonna be like, because we're probably gonna talk about some of our favorite moments from all these movies when we get to the end, you know, and we have our little reflective episode. Bad Guys Anonymous, way up there, and this felt like the Bad Guys Anonymous, but for Vanellope, and just on the other side of the spectrum, but 10 times as cool. But it's surrounded by such horseshit, man. It's surrounded by such, like, once she gets into the Disney area, she sees the stormtroopers. You get the Star Wars references with the shadows and all that stuff. That stuff's cool, and you get real self-referential. I really dig that. You know, when she goes to sing the song and she has to look into the puddle, and then she gets the spotlight, and then she flies away. It's like, okay, this is cool. This is fun stuff. And then her song is just self-referential. She's like, oh, I'm floating and I'm rhyming.
I just feel like, and then after that point, I feel like the rest of the movie is aggressively mid. Yeah. With some really good things thrown in
that are like funny, like beating his ass with the Pinterest pin.
That's good. But like the whole like virus, like how it works, and then it just being a bunch of Ralphs.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a mid.
Yeah,
like that's not.
I like the emotional ending, him letting her go, and
that
all
was
that
cool.
Stuff.
That was cool.
I was into that, but man, it's just that Disney scene, and then that's about it. That's the only thing that stands out from that, and the rest is doohickey. Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. I just think it will be a bad movie in 10 years.
Yeah, and I think it stands apart from what we've been watching recently and ranking very, very high, you know. So
yeah.
Anyway, go back to that list. So we'll reread the top 10, and we'll go through the entire list next week on the final episode of all this. So the top 10 right now is Meet the Robinsons, Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Lion King, Treasure Planet, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zootopia, Moana, Tarzan, and number 1, Lilo and Stitch. Next week, we'll be ranking Frozen 2 and Raya and the Last Dragon.
Pretty good.
And then we will be going back and re-ranking Encanto with the help of the fans, because you guys will be able to watch it on Friday. So you guys try to watch it. You got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I imagine some of you guys will just be relaxing at some point on Christmas or the day after Christmas. Maybe get in and throw on Encanto and give us your thoughts on that. We're looking at you, Lucas. So get in there, do that. You as well, Jordan. And we'll be coming back and doing that. And then I think actually, let me look at the calendar. So I think we use that episode to also just reflect on the Disney stuff. Then the following, because the week after, we should do like our top 5 movies, favorite shows we watched this year, that type of episode. And then on the 10th of January, I guess for y'all, the 11th of January will be the episode where we kick off either Nolan or Harry Potter, which we still don't know what it is, because that vote is still tied. So vote in the comments, vote in the Discord, vote somewhere, anywhere. Send a fucking vote in. If you want to watch the Christopher Nolan films,
use your right as a
or
citizen.
Harry Potter. Yep, it is currently tied. Currently tied.
What
anyway,
next, son?
Has anyone not voted? I can't even think. Miguel,
Lyle,
vote.
Did Lyle vote?
Lyle's been gone, bro. He's been ghost. Haven't heard from him in a long time.
I missed the guy.
It's been about 4 or 5 months since we heard from Lyle.
I miss Lyle.
Lyle, if you're out there, man.
He's still in the Discord.
He's still in the Discord. We added him a couple times, but he hasn't responded. Yeah. He hasn't been in the comments or nothing. Lyle, I hope you're okay. He's from Australia.
He is.
So I hope he's doing good.
Mystical.
Hopefully nothing like happened to him.
Same with you, Mig. What?
What is it? Oh, go. Has it been doing that the whole time? No. Okay, go to the bottom right of the screen and click the little up arrow, and then right click the little gear, and then click mute.
I wonder if that came through the video. I don't know how the sources work.
But did you mute? Did you click mute?
Okay.
Okay. Scroll up on the thing where our mics are at. Scroll up. It's muted, so it's all good.
Cool.
Yeah, we're good. All right, scroll back down on that. You're good to go. Yeah, it's just a desktop background thing. Anyway, talking about a little bit of the news to talk about here.
Big news, baby.
So we'll talk about some Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man No Way Home became the third highest grossing Thursday launch, preview day launch of any movie domestically. So that's the Thursday night launch of a movie. It got $50 million just behind Force Awakens at 57 and Endgame at 60 million. That's that first day domestic opening Thursday. I believe it broke the record for highest opening day of any film ever on a Friday. And then, of course, coming in through the weekend, it is now the second highest opening weekend of all time, just behind Endgame. It ended up breaking all the records.
Just behind.
Yeah, I guess we're
definitely behind Endgame.
I mean, how much was their opening weekend?
1.2.
No, that was their
billion.
whole thing, not their opening weekend.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah,
you sure, boss?
1.2 billion in one weekend. Are you insane? 357 million opening weekend. Relax.
Hold up.
Relax.
Is that domestic?
That's all across. That's domestic. The numbers you're seeing for Spider-Man is also domestic. 253 million domestic.
No, I was looking at the 500,000. I was looking at global numbers.
Global. Global.
I want to know what they
box
made on the first weekend.
Opening weekend. End game. It didn't make 1.something billion. That made it like the whole thing. You can only find it. It's just domestic. Domestic.
I'm pretty sure it's 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion opening weekend globally.
Endgame made 1.2 billion. Its opening weekend.
So 350 domestic.
350 domestic.
Well, what was
Spider-Man was 570.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Endgame will never be
global
touched.
Opening weekend. I don't know, man. Maybe something deeper in the MCU. Maybe.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, so just shy of 600 milli.
Yeah, it's just crazy because it passes Infinity War. Infinity War is like 550. Endgame is 1.2 billion on an opening weekend. That's 3 days, my guy.
That's a lot.
So there's a little fun fact for you. Oh, go flaunt that knowledge.
Anyway, so it hit that $260 million domestically, which is really nice. Theaters are back in business, which is really nice seeing movies come out. I'm really happy for Christopher Nolan because that means he can keep making fucking movies. So $260 million. It broke their original projection of $150 million for the weekend. They changed that prediction after the first day to $250 million, and then by the end of the weekend, it ended up breaking that final prediction as well. That was Sony's projected, by the way, and got to $260 million domestically opening weekend, second highest of all time. Love to see it.
Lit.
Love to see it. We'll talk about the movie again later. Go ahead and go watch that if you haven't yet. It's definitely worth a watch. Even if you're not an MCU fan, you're just a Spider-Man fan. It's a nice trip through time with Goblin and Doc Ock and the guys being in there. So go watch that film. Good stuff if you like Spider-Man. Anyway, there's no real trailers this week that dropped. Nothing to really watch there.
Witcher? Is that what this is?
Huh? Oh yeah. Sorry. I forgot about that news story. They announced a Witcher Prequel coming out. A Netflix show
after the success of season 2.
Yeah. So
okay, is it separate?
Yeah, I have no idea. No clue. Anyway, time to talk. Well, let's talk about what's coming soon before we get into what we've been watching, because we're going to be talking about spoilers on the things that we've been watching. But what's coming soon? Of course, The Matrix Resurrection drops
tomorrow or 2 days from now.
Yeah. People are giving it 2s, 3s. IGN gave it a 4. So yeah. To be expected.
My boss is real excited to go see it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to crush his spirits.
You can watch it on HBO Max. So.
He was like, I'm going to rewatch all of them before I go see it. And so he's just probably rewatching The Matrix.
Well, 2 and 3 is doo-doo. But anyway, The King's Man drops as well this week. Sing 2, and then Encanto, of course, drops on Disney Plus. Go ahead and give that a watch. Now time to talk about the things we've been watching. Before we get into the Spider-Man spoiler talk, have you watched anything else?
No, I don't think I have.
Just Hawkeye?
Yeah, you want to start with Hawkeye?
I guess let's not do spoilers for Hawkeye because we got one more episode. But Hawkeye, still hitting.
Yes.
Still hitting very hard.
Last episode, I like the story.
I love the story. New characters being introduced. Dig them.
The newest character? Wow. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
The second newest character that's not a new character. Great addition. Yeah. Loving that.
Wonderful accent.
Yeah. Loving that.
Love her.
Yeah. So good.
Watch Hawkeye if you're not.
Watch Hawkeye. Hawkeye ended up being a sleeper fucking hit this year, man.
And it's not like you have to watch anything else to watch it.
You really don't.
As long as you've watched the Avenger movies,
you're good to go.
I think is every Hawkeye movie.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
You're pretty good. And then, of course, you watched anything else?
No. Did you?
I watched the first episode of When They See Us Again, which was, made me cry again.
Station show?
Station show?
Isn't that
I'll get to that.
Sorry. My bad.
And that one's, emotional. It's about the Central Park 5. Very good. Very good. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. And then I started the Station 11, which is fucking weird, man. I don't know what's going on in that show. I genuinely, there's no way to explain it without spoiling it. And honestly, I don't even think there's a way to explain it with spoiling it. Based off a book, Blue Pandemic, but it's not about that. But it is, though. I can't get into it. But it's good. I'm loving it. Most people would hate it.
So, cinematically.
Like, you mean like shots and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really there.
Really?
It's not about that.
So it's not good to look at either?
I mean, it is. I could talk to you about it and spoil it later, but...
Okay.
Just watch it if you want. It's art house, so
if
you're into that, it's that for sure.
Okay.
But anyway, let's talk about Spider-Man.
Okay.
So now this is the clear cut. If you have not watched Spider-Man, drop a like, drop a sub, get the fuck out of here.
GTFO, baby.
Okay.
YAKWTFGO.
But if you have watched Spider-Man,
welcome to the club.
You already know what the fuck going on. So Spider-Man dropped this weekend. Of course, we went and watched it opening day.
Oh, we need to pull up the MCU rankings. We gotta slide this hoe in.
Do we?
Yeah.
I forgot about the MCU rankings.
Pull up the MCU rankings list. Maybe just type in Marvel or MCU. It might come up.
It's like MCU Power Rankings, I think is the actual name of it.
Marvel Power. It's something like that.
Marvel Power Rankings.
Boy, howdy.
What a good ass film.
Start to finish.
So good.
There was so many good scenes. You start right off rip back where you left in Far From Home.
Yeah, let's just kick off the third film.
Gas.
The fucking end of the last film. Right. Let's just extend that scene out and start that. That was so good. That was a good call.
Dude, a fantastic performances all around.
Yep.
Did we just talk from the start of the movie to the end of the movie? How would you like to do this?
I don't know. Let's just go in there. Of course, getting the Spider-Man in there.
You just want to go straight to that.
So good. This was a great call. Of course, we expected it, but also didn't expect it and didn't know what to expect.
They were good at throwing us off the track.
I think it worked super well for us because a lot of our theories were like debunked without being debunked.
Yeah.
Like things would happen, we'd be like, shit.
Well, because during the show, we're like, okay, there's gonna be a shot.
Yeah.
Where they're gonna be looking at Doc Ock, but they're really gonna be talking to Peter because that makes more sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get to the shot and they're talking to Doc Ock. And you're like,
it lined up super, super well for us.
I'll be wrong
because of our personal theories. We're like getting debunked. And
but I had 30, so like,
yeah.
It was just crushing because you're like, oh man,
damn,
oh man,
damn.
Oh man.
But then it ended up coming.
Matt Murdock, and you're like,
oh yeah. So new Matt Murdock coming. Of course, my theory is that he will be popping up in the end of Hawkeye because that makes sense with his placement and stuff. And this episode's coming out.
The
Maybe they come
of
out with
the movie and the show are like exactly lined up.
I think he might be popping up because him entering doesn't make a lot of sense. At least in the scenes, it's like, why is he there? I don't know. Like he doesn't really add anything. He doesn't come back.
Yeah.
That was like a criticism that my dad had. My dad, for some reason, did.
It's just a cameo more than anything.
Yeah. So there's that. I think
I was bricked.
I was bricked up like the whole movie. So many good moments.
I'm a good lawyer.
Them jumping into the silhouette of the moon. Having his Uncle Ben moment, but with Aunt May.
Yes.
Great power comes with great responsibility. Bringing that out.
What was your favorite scene? This is a question I've asked a lot of people, and it's different for everyone.
Favorite scene, bro?
Like, what was your favorite scene from the movie?
That's so hard.
I know.
I can give you a top 3
I
no
have
order.
an easy answer.
What's your answer?
It's when the number 2 Peter grabs MJ.
Andrew.
Yeah.
When Andrew Garfield catches MJ. I can
Yeah,
give you a top
that's a
3.
great scene.
I can give you top 3 no order.
Bro.
That's all. That's the best I can give you.
Sus little man.
So top 3 no order, of course, includes the Andrew Garfield getting redemption and catching Mary Jane.
That's a good scene.
Number 2 is rooftop scene, where they show up and they're standing there on the top of the thing, the thing, and then they come down and they're like,
Uncle Ben said it.
"We know exactly what you feel. We're exactly what you need." And then Peter Parker beating the shit out of Goblin.
It was pretty hard.
Because
you know the whole shots go hard scene,
boom,
or the pictures that go hard on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the whole scene that goes hard.
Him doing the Spider-Man PS4 finisher move, that was tight. But then also Tobey Maguire coming out, catching the thing and being like, "You don't want this. Like, we've done this."
The crazy thing is, he picked it up, the glider, and didn't say a word.
Nope.
He just looked him in the eye.
And that's all. And you felt it. You knew exactly what he was thinking, and you knew what Tom was thinking, and that was the dark moment for Tom Spider-Man. That was the fuck. And then there's so many other good scenes. Like, I guess those would be my top 3. But like,
really? See, my favorite is the coffee shop scene at the end.
It's so good.
Hurts so much.
It hurts.
Your heart starts to crumble.
Especially because.
But you're like, that's what he's got to do.
That's the scene where you realize he is Spider-Man and not Spider-Boy,
Peter anymore.
because he looks at that and he wants something so bad, and he has to carry this burden, and that's the moment where he's like, "Fuck, I got to carry this burden in order to ensure the safety of these people, in order to be Spider-Man."
And watching them, knowing they're gonna go to MIT, to Boston.
This is the great responsibility that Aunt May was talking about. I can't do this, and I remember going into the original Spider-Man 1, No Way Home, or Homecoming,
yeah.
And being like, man, I'm glad that they didn't give us another origin story. And boy, did they just hit us with the flip script, and this was just a 3-movie origin story.
It really was.
Like, we got to the end of this, and I was like, this is the origin story. That's what this is.
This is how it's a how Spider-Man became Spider-Man.
Yeah, 3-movie origin story, which is exactly what it feels like, because I just remember praising it. Like, finally, we're not going into the, like, oh, I'm going to get bit by the spider. We're just going to blow it off and say, I got powers and I'm bit by a spider. Don't worry about it. You guys all know the story. But then, come around by the end of the 3rd movie and be like, oh, this is Tom Holland Spider-Man origin story. This 3-movie package. And that's what it felt like for me. So many good fucking moments. So many good jokes. Are you going to go into the battle looking like a cool youth pastor? Or, that you're amazing. You're amazing. Say you're amazing. Like, come on.
Yeah, I had to kill my best friend.
Yeah,
try to kill me.
Let's, have Doc Ock be able to say his iconic line, the power of the sun in my hands.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
So bring all those lines back up. Hey man, you're from Queens and stuff. I thought for sure you'd be black.
And it's like, and it's there's so many good like redemptions for these characters besides Kurt Connors and Sandman is fine, whatever. But the movie is clearly focusing on Doc Ock, Electro, and Green
Mostly
Goblin.
yeah.
And watching them,
dude, fleshing out their characters
themselves.
And feeling, dude, that fleshed out those characters more than I thought you could. It took characters that were just mid and bad and made them great.
I've been telling you, I've been rewatching the movie just on TikTok from spoilers, and the scene where Doc Ock's like, Peter, how are you?
Yeah,
and he's like, trying to do better every day.
Yeah,
you're just like, dude, like,
it's so
Doc's
fucking
back.
good. Doc's back. Yeah, getting that to happen, like it. All of those things, it fleshes out those characters and makes those characters so much better, so much cooler, and just making the story better. Like Jamie Foxx's Electro, I was like, man, I dig this shit. Like compared to what he was in that movie, which was ass. In this movie, so good. I think one of my biggest takeaways from this film is that I need Andrew Garfield to be Spider-Man again, and that sucks because it makes me I don't know if he watched Tom Holland and changed the way he did it, or if it was genuinely just the writing, but I hope it's just the writing, because I think Andrew Garfield star of the show in this. Honestly, I think I liked Andrew Garfield's performance as Spider-Man in this film better than Tom Holland's and Tobey Maguire's. I just came away from it being like, wow, I don't think it was
better than Tom Holland's. I think it was just like, wow, I underappreciated this guy's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because over time we've developed a love for Andrew Garfield that was post Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and so it wasn't like I love Andrew Garfield because he's Spider-Man. Tom Holland I love because he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield I love because he's Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
And oh wow, he also plays a dope Spider-Man.
He played such a good fucking Spider-Man in this movie, man.
There's no pressure on him in the movie to like have to show levels of emotion and carry the movie on his back. So I think it's easier for him to be a good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did kill it. I agree. I want more
he murdered
for him.
He murdered it. Of course.
This ain't enough.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah.
It's a spider sense, not a bread sense. Bro.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe
did
great. Alfred
Killed
Molina
it.
did great.
Killed it.
Jamie Foxx did great. Everybody did great. Even Aunt May.
Except Kirk Connors.
Aunt May. Kirk Connors just didn't get no screen time. I'm same with Sandman.
So I figured out what it was. They apparently for the Lizard and Sandman, they weren't on set at all.
Oh, they weren't.
They like did their voice lines later. But they weren't like.
Well, it's
because
they're
COVID stuff.
It's and it's super minor.
Well, yeah,
they're
that's
there.
part of the reason. Like Sandman,
Like you see Sandman's face twice. You see
Yeah,
Kirk
but
Connors'
that-
face once at the end.
I don't remember the actor's name for Sandman, but he's not. When you see him turn back to himself, those are just shots from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, because they look like
It does
related.
look kind of
Yeah.
like different. And I think it's the same for Kirk Connors too. It's just shots from
and
Spider-Man.
just used his voice.
Yeah, and they just used his voice.
Yeah,
And you can definitely tell like they're not the focus point here. It's
Yeah.
Doc Ock, Goblin, and Electro.
Yeah.
Those are your villains.
Your main three.
You're talking about.
yeah.
Some things to talk about. Venom.
Gonna be in.
I like how they did that.
Let's
You
not-
and I agree that we both don't like Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yep.
I think you hate him.
Yeah.
Almost. I think he's just not.
Jesus.
It just doesn't feel the vibes.
Yeah, so
don't
to bring
match
him in
with the MCU.
and then drop the thing to be
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna bring Venom in, but also he's back.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
We're gonna-
this Venom.
We're taking the symbiote.
Yeah.
And okay,
That was
so,
one of my dad's pinpoints. Was like, oh, it doesn't make sense that Venom came over because he doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
Okay.
But
there's theories.
there's no theories. It's confirmed
Why?
because in the Venom movie and in Venom lore, the symbiote of Venom contains all the knowledge
Yeah,
base
that's the
of
theory.
all. It's
Yeah.
not a theory. It's confirmed.
Well, it's not confirmed in the movies.
It is. He says a
the
line.
hive mind thing.
He
Yeah,
says a
it's too
line in the
big for your
movie.
brain.
Yeah, he's like the knowledge that I contain in all the hive minds from all the universes. He says it
Yeah,
in the
yeah, you're
movie,
right, you're right.
so it's like confirmed in the
I
movie.
forgot about that scene.
Yeah, and he talks about how the
So
hive
it is
mind and all the
confirmed.
symbiotes.
Venom knows Peter, not Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
That's the stipulation you gotta make there.
exactly.
And then the other thing with Jamie Foxx or Electro that we're kind of assuming is that it's not the Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's an Electro very similar to that one that happens to know Peter Parker and doesn't look as much like an idiot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't.
That's the
I
only
think
way that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't think none of that. I think you don't really need to think that hard.
no,
on
it
those
doesn't
type of
matter.
levels.
But
It doesn't
like,
matter
when
because of
you
the
think about the
multiverse.
movie for 72 hours straight.
Yeah,
That's what you're thinking about everything.
ultimately because of the multiverse, that type of stuff doesn't matter
Mhm.
too much.
We get some acknowledgement to Scorpion,
Mhm.
Rhino, you see
Craven.
Craven. Some people said a bunch of them that I'm like, yeah, you're stretching there.
Yeah, because it's hard to see. But is Ned and is Zendaya and old dude coming back?
I think no, they're gonna be in Boston.
I think
They're going to MIT.
it's a toss up. I think it's if these actors want to sign, we're writing them back in.
How do you write them back in though? What are they doing in New York?
It would be. I mean, it would just be easy. You could just
I
write
know,
some
but it's
stuff
like-
because they still know Spider-Man.
Do they?
Yes, because everyone else's memory, even Happy was like, "Oh, I knew
Mm.
Spider-Man from all this stuff." So the assumption
I
is
guess
everyone
they-
else's memory is they still went through all of that shit,
With
but it's only
Spider-Man.
associated with Spider-Man and not Peter Parker. So
I guess that's
they still
fair.
have all those interactions with Spider-Man, and of course Ned can now break his promise maybe of stabbing his friend in the back. Type of thing. So I think they
don't want that.
if they can
I
do it
think
good,
you
I don't
let
care.
them go.
I don't
I think
care.
you had a great
'Cause I
end to
love
their
Zendaya.
characters. I do too. I do too. But I think you had a great end to their characters. So if they didn't come back at all, I'm very
Yeah.
satisfied.
I think it's
It's not like
I
they
think-
have so much more to explore.
it's written in such a way where they could do anything. That's
Yeah.
the thing, and so they could bring them in, they could not. So I think it's a toss-up.
But I think if he had to fight Ned as the Hobgoblin
Mm-hmm.
in a future movie, it's gonna hurt a lot
Yeah,
because it is his best friend. But
Yeah.
Ned doesn't know that.
yeah. They gave themselves a brilliant, beautiful toss-up. They can
Yeah.
now bring Spider-Man back into the MCU whenever they want, because we know they want to do Spider-Man movies, but now they're able to. They don't have to worry about answering questions. They can just insert them wherever is necessary and move on from
And
there.
this movie fixes my biggest problem with Spider-Man and most of the MCU in general, where we get so massive on a scale of like multiversal consequences.
Yeah.
That how do you bring it down to street level?
Yeah.
Well, you fucking have everybody forget who he is.
Yeah.
You get rid of all that stuff. Nobody knows what's going on. So all he can do is go back to street level.
Yeah.
You get rid of the Stark suits. You get rid of everything else. He's got
Yep.
nobody surrounding him.
Getting his
He's got to
GED.
work on the streets.
Getting his GED.
And that's great because now you're wanting to introduce characters like Daredevil. And how do you do that? You have to return your characters to the street level crime. So
Yeah,
I think they did great.
It's gonna be great. Probably won't see it for 4 or 5 years, but I'm excited to see what happens next with Spider-Man. Excited to see what happens next in the MCU. Of course, a Hawkeye finale next week, and then after that, we're on a 5-month hiatus waiting for Doctor Strange to come out.
Which we got Yeah, let's
Yeah.
throw it in. Let's throw it in. Okay.
Number 1.
Number 2. Damn it. I think everybody else agrees it's number 1.
Everyone else does.
I'll let it go to number 1. I still think Infinity War is a better movie. Spider-Man's a cooler movie, though. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Spider-Man is
Clapped so hard I
freaking
thought my
cool,
hands
dude.
were
That
bleeding.
movie is so cool.
I never jumped out of my seat in the theater. Did that time.
Infinity War is so good.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Bro, it's called No Way Home because my man Peter got no home to go to.
Yep. Yeah, did you
So
see he was
sad.
getting his GED? Yeah.
Did you see the things he took with him to the house?
Nah.
He took the Lego Palpatine,
Hell
which
yeah.
Ned gives him in the first movie.
Hell
He's
yeah.
like, come help me build my
Yeah.
Death Star or whatever. I think he took something that was MJ's. MJ still has the necklace
Yeah.
that she gave him. There's just a lot of stuff like that you're like, damn.
Yep. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Synced Up Filmcast. Go ahead and catch us next week ranking Frozen 2, Raya and the Last Dragon, and Encanto to end cap
about
our Disney
Hawkeye.
rewatch. Let's go. And we'll talk about the finale to Hawkeye.
We'll
And
spoil it
the
all.
whole show.
Yes, sir.
Also, consider if you're in the audio version to go over to youtube.com/syncedupodcast to give us a subscribe over there. If you listen on Spotify, or if you don't, you just have Spotify, go to Synced Up.
Rate it, bro.
Go to Synced Up Filmcast because you can now rate on
Can I do
Spotify.
that yet?
So we would very much appreciate that. So all of you guys who support us on patreon.com/synced-up at the $5 tier, we'll catch you guys in the post show in a few minutes. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. Again, sorry for the late episode. But we'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace.
The button.
You gonna hit the button?
The button.